Okay. So we have a subject that we want to talk about, but do we want to do Challenger of the Week at the end or in the beginning, actually?
Now.
Okay. Okay, drum roll, because I'm going to screen share. More excited. Okay, wait. Where is it? Hold on. Now I have to find it. I'm excited.
I'm glad we chose who we chose because that person showed up today on this call.
I know.
It's got to be Chelsea.
I can't find it. What the heck?
What are you looking for?
Way to kill this.
Oh, I got it. Hold on. Okay. Wait. Okay, so you guys, we picked the Challenger of the Week because she shows up every day and she's encouraging to other people and she's just setting such a great example to so many people. And hopefully it will work.
Yay! I knew it.
I was like, shut up, Kelsey, shut up.
I know.
Thank you.
Well, it's true. Like, you're always on there. It's so nice.
Oh,
You post
thank you guys. We love that, like, people, like, you are helping people, you're encouraging people, but you're sharing your stuff. Like, it's just so helpful, especially right now because my brain is everywhere. So it's so nice having people in there that's still, like, able to check in and all that kind of stuff. And we appreciate you. And you went through kind of a rough patch there, and look at you coming back full swing. So this year has been so good for you, and we want you to know that we've recognized that. So
Thank you.
Your Challenger of the Week. Okay. So the subject of conversation, I'm going to kind of give this to Ashley, and then I'm going to mute myself, Ashley, so you can't hear baby in the background.
Yeah.
It is recording, right? Oh, yeah, it's recording.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try not to get emotional. I had a really, really, really tough night last night. But we kind of just wanted to, like, open this group up a little more. We've noticed, like, I don't want to say people are, like, whining and complaining in the group, but there has been some, like, in general, like, people talking about, like, the surface level of their issues going on. And not really, like, acting on them, if that makes sense. And so I really wanted to share a personal experience and kind of open up more, like, dialogue on these calls rather than, like, in the group just, like, complaining and whining. I'm not, like, there's nobody specifically that we're, like, thinking of that's doing it. And a lot of times I just want to post, like, fuck my life. And so we really want to make these calls and, like, our morning chats and stuff more of this nature, if that makes sense. Not necessarily like a counseling or like a therapy session, but, like, I feel like there's just, like, topics that are really, really hard to talk about. And Jamie I actually, like, FaceTime Jamie, and I didn't even get emotional with Jamie. I don't even know how I did that because last night was freaking rough. But we were talking about how, like, Brene Brown, I don't know if you guys have, like, read or listened to any of her stuff, but she talks about, like, the Gremlins movie, about when the light shines on the gremlins, they die. And same thing as, like, with our insecurities and our issues that are going on. So yeah, we really just want to open up these calls and that to it. So I want to share my personal experience with something that I've been dealing with lately. And if any of you have any, like, input on, like, things that you've been dealing with or whatever, feel free to share as well. But in the past, I never really had, like, a formal diagnosis of it. But recently, in the last, like, 6 months or so, I was diagnosed with a binge eating disorder. I'm already getting, like, super shaky and, like, teary-eyed. I've always had a really hard time with it, like, growing up. I just have always ate like shit. And that was always, like, it wasn't ever for, like, an emotional reason, just I didn't know how to eat. But now, like, as an adult, anytime things get stressful, like, I feel like it's kind of like a drug in general to me. Like, I literally, like, here's an example. Like, yesterday, I had a really tough day. I wasn't even hungry, but I was just, like, so pissed off and so upset that I, like, went to Fred Meyer. I got 2 donuts, a bunch of mozzarella sticks, chicken strips. And I literally, like, I didn't even like how they tasted. Well, the donuts I did. But like the fried food, like it tasted like shit, like rubber shit. And I still ate it because I literally just like, when it happens, like I sit there and I like literally eat it because I hate myself. I don't hate myself in general, but I go through these like stages where like I just can't handle my emotions, and literally like I have no idea what it is, but like the sugar and the shit make me feel good for about 5 minutes, and that's the only thing that can make me feel better. And it's really hard for me to face that it's an actual problem because it only shows up every few months or when things get hard. And what really hit home this time is there's no like environmental reason for it. Usually there's issues with my family or stress at home or anything. But I honestly have no idea why I feel this way. I've been having a hard time like getting out of bed in the morning and staying out of bed. Like I will go and like I'll fall asleep for like hours in the middle of the day. And I don't know if this has anything to do with the fact that I was on Adderall and then stopped taking it, or if it's because I started my period or if my hormones are just super fucked up. Like I don't know what my problem is. Like I really don't. And so I like broke down to Jordan last night because I was just so embarrassed. Like, and I feel like a complete fraud. And I know that I'm not. It's not like I'm not looking for this to like, you know, for people to like feel sorry for me or anything. But it's so hard when like I'm a health and fitness coach and I got emotional and I'm eating because I hate myself. I'm teaching people to love themselves, and I'm having these moments and these hours where I just hate myself so much that I just like will literally eat to make myself sick. And I don't know why I do it. I don't make myself throw up or anything. Like, I mean, I get physically sick, like out the other end, you know, at times sometimes, but I still do it. And I really like, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because we all have our issues and we all have things that we go through and things that we do like this, and people don't talk about it. And I feel like it's really important for someone like me that's helping lead this group to bring that up, because I still struggle. I still have a really, really, really hard time. And like Jordan didn't even know that I had a problem until now. I never even really told him that I was diagnosed with that. I've only talked to my counselor about it. And I've mentioned like how I eat like shit, but never like the feelings behind it, if that makes sense. So that's that. I'm getting through it and I'm doing okay. Yesterday was really tough. I don't know where it came from, but yesterday was really, really hard. And today wasn't great, but I slept instead of eating like shit. And so that's, you know, I'm taking one day forward, one step at a time. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going to do going forward, but I did make a counseling session this Wednesday for these issues to see if maybe I can get into some sort of like program or see a counselor specific to that to help me with issues, because I've always worked my way out of it. Like, it's not like I binge eat every single day. I still lose weight. I still eat healthy most of the time, but when I get in these funks, they're just so freaking hard to get out of. And so basically the whole point of this is like, it's okay if you're dealing with things, and I would have been much better off if I would have reached out to friends or, you know, called somebody yesterday, you know, rather than just sitting in my own shit. And also, like, when you have things like this going on, like, there's no shame in taking action for it. Like, even if I wasn't okay with talking to you guys about it or talking to Jordan about it, like even just making the counseling appointment for myself on Wednesday, I have one scheduled for next week. I could have waited, but honestly, when I go through these binges, like, they're usually over by the time I see my counselor. Like, I get through them and I push myself out of it. And that's why I think that I don't have a problem, because I'm like, whatever, like, I was able to pull myself out of it. It hasn't happened for 3 months. I'm fine. But the feeling that I'm feeling right now and how I felt yesterday, I never, ever, ever want to feel again. And so the fact that even just taking action, making a counseling appointment, or doing something about it, I just want to encourage anybody and everybody to do that, because I know I'm not the only one dealing with that.
Well, you're not the only one. That's something that I've even been struggling with, and I unfortunately handle it in not good ways as well. But that's why I think it's so important that we have these groups and these calls, because first of all, I want to say this, okay? And I know Ashley's going to know what I mean, but we have to make sure too that even when we go through times of struggle, that we're not constantly just giving ourselves grace. It's okay. It's just a hard time. I'm going to get through it, which she is. And she knows that I'm not saying this. I just know that me and Ashley both, we've even told each other, we give each other sometimes too much grace, and we've gotten way better at that because we've said that to each other. So you can sit there and be like, it's okay, I'll get through it, I know I can. But then you have to realize that that's the habit. You go in through the motions of the binge eating or the emotional hate or the self-doubt or whatever it might be for you. It doesn't have to be binge eating. If you're watching this, you're like, I don't struggle with that. Maybe it's under eating. Maybe it's not drinking enough water. Maybe it's not getting your mind right. Whatever it is, insert here. And then you go through it and then you're like, it's fine. It's just the season of life. It's just this. And then you get through it and you have some good moments, and then all of a sudden you fall and then you're back into it. And that is a habit. That's a lifestyle habit and not a healthy lifestyle habit. And I know that I have that. And what I was talking to Ashley about is I killed it with 80-day obsession, but I was so regimented and I needed the structure, really needed the structure. But then all of a sudden, when I didn't have that structure anymore, when I was allowing myself some more freedom, along with all the emotional turmoil that was happening behind the scenes within my family and with my dad and stuff, I went downhill, and I went downhill quick, to the point where my best friend, Erica, had to call me out, be like, how are you doing with your food? Because I had opened up with her with stuff that I struggle with, and I opened up with John and stuff. And it's like, you have to know your balance. So for me, I realized that I was so incredibly strict on myself. As soon as that I stopped, I went completely the opposite way, which normally for the last whatever, I've been very good. Like this year's been the most that I've struggled with nutrition, probably, because normally I'm pretty balanced when it comes to all that kind of stuff. And so you have to just recognize it. So by Ashley letting us know, I was texting Ashley yesterday. I had no idea she was struggling at all, and so now I know. So now I can check in with her. Same with Erica, checked in with me, and it was a great accountability and a great wake-up call for me. I haven't done that since, but the binging is something that I still am struggling with a bit, and it's definitely getting so much better in the last 2 weeks. And that's why I made that post today, which is so weird because I didn't know that Ashley was struggling with this, but I made the post today that some seasons of lives require different kinds of transformations, not always going to be physical transformation. And so what I really want everyone to think about is, when you're in this group, we're not just looking for your inches and your pounds on the scale to drop, okay? We're trying to show you how to change your mindset and teach you guys that you're not alone in the struggle of wherever you're at, but you are allowed to either sit in your struggle or move from your struggle, or you can sit up from your struggle and still leave it there nice and comfortable, just so you can fall right back into it when it's ready, and you give yourself that kind of an excuse. I know that I've been full of like, I'm just going to give myself grace, and then I'm having to reel myself in. No, I'm not going to get into this habit. I'm not going to do it. And so I'm working on that. And I feel like I'm getting a grasp on it, but it's not 100% by any means. And it's never going to be. But you have to talk about it. Like, I want to cry just looking at Ashley right now because she's making me want to cry. But only because I know the struggle. And if I'm a health and fitness coach and I'm struggling with this, Ashley's a health and fitness coach and she's struggling with this, then how many of you guys are struggling with the same things, where when it's, you eat really good all through the night, the kids go to bed, and then all of a sudden you want a snack and you just go balls to the wall. See? And all of us do that. And for some reason in our minds, we're like, well, I did really good through the day, so I'm going to treat myself. But then it leads to one, to another, to another, to another. And even if it's like a fun size candy, but you've got 5 fun size candy, you're like, it's okay, they're all little. But no, you're eating a lot. Like, we all do that. We all are struggling with it. And I don't want people to just not treat themselves, but also be mindful of what you are. And if it is a binge eating moment, if it is an emotional thing, a lot of people aren't going to admit that they're binge eaters, but I can guarantee you probably 90% of us that will watch this call or in this group struggle with that because it is such a natural form of comfort because of how society has built us and molded us and stuff like that. And it is like a drug. So that goes in hand with the other post that I did, is that we all struggle with some sort of addiction, and neither one is better or worse. I mean, if you think about it, like the whole addiction mentality, that's in there. And so like, we may not be showing signs of using heroin and all that kind of stuff, but you know, like we could be doing other stuff that's not healthy, and it's still just enough of a problem to want to work on it, like as if it were one of the big problems. Does that make sense?
Right.
So
right.
we can hide it, we can put it under the rug, but like Brene Brown says, the only way you can get through it is if you shine a light on it. And that's what we're doing for this. We're hoping that this group and this, we can just share our struggles, but also sharing the struggles with also a plan on how to get through those struggles. Okay. Not just be a complaining about the struggle, because if you are going to be struggling with something, I want you to have an answer to that. Even if it's not the right answer, we can navigate our way through that together. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's also like recognizing the bad behaviors where like, it's not like I'm going, like when I worked in the office and there would be like a work potluck and I would eat like crap because it's a potluck. I mean, it's not healthy to do, but I'm not saying it's okay because everyone does it, but it's like, it was brought to me. It's not an inconvenience. Like, it's just more convenient to grab that food, and that's why I'm doing it. I straight up go out of my way. I go through a drive-through at McDonald's and I hide the bags from like Jordan, and I put them in the garbage outside or somewhere else before he knows, or like Carl's Jr. or like any sweets, like anything. And I'm straight up hiding it. And so it's really just like recognizing the unhealthy behaviors behind it. And I think the hardest part for me is like, I didn't want to tell people because I don't want people to be watching me when I eat. I still want to be able to eat like shit sometimes. Like, I want to be able to enjoy ice cream or a cookie or whatever. But it's just like what I talked to Jamie about when it comes to like me for drinking. My mom's an alcoholic, and I love my mom so much, but I recognize a lot of the same traits in me. So before I drink alcohol, and I'm like, why do I want to drink? Am I drinking to be happy, or am I happy and do I want to have fun with my friends? You know, it's the same kind of thing. Like, you kind of got to check yourself. Why am I eating this? Am I eating it because I feel like shit? How will this make me feel, you know, once I'm done eating it? And finding something else, and like not going out of your way to find shit food, you know? So there's a difference. So I don't want people to think that it's not okay to eat sugary foods, or if you get the munchies every once in a while, you know, like, it's not like that. It's like straight up going out of your way to find shit.
And not even like, we don't even want you guys to be so 100% structured, because like
that's what creates the problems.
Yeah. So like a rule of thumb, when you start a program, follow the portion program for the first 3 weeks, okay, of it. And then you can start incorporating things if you feel ready. But also don't create like, I need to be 100% mentality. And then when you do let loose and have a treat or something, then all of a sudden you're like, this is a cheat and I shouldn't be eating this. You know what I mean? So then we go through that whole cycle. That's not what we are wanting. That's not the goal for these groups. We want long lasting joy. And joy also means you need to have fun and let loose and have those cookies. But also that's why like Shake, and this is, you guys, we let people in the group that should be on Shakeology, and they are probably not drinking it anymore. And the thing is Shakeology is literally life changing, especially if you struggle with the sweet tooth and binge eating. And I know that like you guys are even drinking your Shakeology right now. It's like a perfect late night treat as well. But properly fueling your body and giving yourself that kind of nutrients to help you is going to be huge. But also drinking enough water, because if you're dehydrated, it's going to come out in cravings when you're actually not craving anything. Same with stress, emotional. Are you fueling for food? Are you eating for fuel, or are you eating for comfort? Are you filtering through emotions, and which emotions are those? Like what Ashley was talking about. And we just want you guys to be able to like create a balance for your guys's lifestyle. And when you do have seasons of struggle, it's not you falling off completely. Okay. I hate when it's like, oh, I started, but then I fell off and now I need to start over because I got sick or I did this or I ate. No, you're not starting over. You're not going back to home to go just to go around the board again. That's not what we're doing. You are literally just one foot in front of the other. You're going forward and you're learning. Why did I fall off? What was it that triggered it? How could I have gotten better at it the next time I go? You know what I mean? That's what it
Literally.
is. Not starting over. Stop doing that to your mind because you're messing your brain up.
Right. Just
That's
putting
my
yourself in check.
favorite thing that Autumn said in 80 Day Obsession was it's not a destination, it's a journey. And it's like there's no end in sight to it. When she said that, that has literally stuck in my head. And I have to remind myself constantly when I feel like I've fallen off. I mean, fallen off of what? So what? I ate bad for a few days. So what? That's just part of the process. It's going to happen. Today, I was literally going to post in the group, I'm wanting to eat everything because I'm bored. I was bored. I was craving McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's. I'm constantly telling Brad he's a disgusting human being for eating McDonald's.
Nuggets today. That's so weird.
I just wanted a double cheeseburger from McDonald's, and I don't like McDonald's.
It's a reason to leave the house. That's my problem. Like, I get so lonely. Like, I love that I can just coach. It's great. But there are, like, downsides to it as well. Like, because I get
bored of being at home all the time.
Alone all day. And I am hungry. And then I'm like, oh, there's no food. Okay, what sounds good? What adventure do I want to take? You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to fall into. And before you know it, you're in that cycle. And then unfortunately, it turns into a shame cycle and it gets worse and worse and worse until you pull yourself out of it. And like, luckily it never lasts more than a week for me, but that doesn't mean that it's not a problem. And I shouldn't learn to recognize when it starts before it gets bad, you know, because there are times to give myself grace. The times are once I catch myself doing it once and then being like, that wasn't like me. Why did I do that? And then not do it again. You know what I mean?
Well, and I feel like it's so important for us to realize like boredom, emotion, cravings, periods, all of the things. What are you going to allow? Yeah, like plan. What are you going to allow yourself to give yourself a little grace? Like, is it during your period and you have a sweet tooth and you're like, that's going to be the time where if I do, then I'm going to allow myself to do that. But you're doing it because with you having control over it and it not having control over you. It's not a sneak attack on you. You are going to put in that control. Okay. So that's something that I'm working on. But you guys want to know something crazy? I've known Ashley for a couple years now. Well, technically way longer, but really known her. And I didn't know that she struggled with this stuff. So she had to open up. She doesn't know why she just let it happen yesterday or why it was such a bad day. And this is going to be really gross, you guys, but I'm giving you a visual aid. You're welcome. How many of you guys have ever had, whether it be, I mean, let's be honest, I get like boils sometimes, like under my arm or like, sometimes when you shave, or like a zit and you don't even realize it's there until it's so painful and it needs to pop or something, right? That's, I know that is literally so disgusting.
But it's so true.
But then once it relieves pressure, it pops, and then all of a sudden you feel like it's not as painful. It's going to be sore. You're going to have to work through it, make sure it's not whatever. And I know this is so gross, but that is what's happening. It's festering up. You don't know what's going on, and it's gross, and it's disgusting, and it's not going away, and it's annoying. You might not even realize it's there until it's like ready to show you that it's there, and it's going to be painful. It's going to be gross. It's going to be yucky. You're not going to want to do it. There's nothing sexy about admitting your struggles or whatever. But once you do, once you put it out there and you release it, then you're able to start working through it, because now not only have you let it out so it's not able to just sit and fester within you and cause just you pain, you've released it out, and then you've allowed people to be like, how can we help? How can I check in on you? Like, and people check in on me. And I feel like ever since I've been more open within the last 6 months of just really how much I'm struggling, like people, like I'm always the one that feels like I'm having to help other people. But even when I got crews like Ashley, Kirsten, Melanie, Carissa, all these people showed up at my house and helped me clean my house and helped me with all these things. And I like was so blown away. And I was like, it feels so good to be loved when I needed to be loved. And the thing is we all are loved, but we never allow ourselves to be because we're hiding everything that is festering underneath us, instead of just releasing it and allowing people to check in on us. So there's nothing wrong if you're struggling, but there is something wrong that if you're struggling and you're allowing yourself to sit in your own struggle, okay? And it is going to be painful in the moment of having to release it and all of that stuff. It is painful. It's part of the process, but that's when you can heal through it. I hope that made sense. I know it was a really gross way of explaining it, but that is literally the visual I got in my head.
No, it's the truth. And I mean, like, and like the only reason why I feel like I haven't talked to people about it is because like I feel like I've had it under control for like months now. I felt really good about it. Like anytime I had a sweet, I was like, oh, that sucked. But like if I started like feeling full or like sick from it, I would stop eating, or I'd only have a couple bites and then be like, okay, I cannot push it any further. And I did have to take a few days to sit and reflect and be like, do I want to tell people? Is it something that I need to keep hiding? Like what, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things, like, I don't feel good about it. And like, I literally laid in bed with Jordan last night. Like we got into a stupid fight that was about nothing in regards to what's going on with me. But I was just feeling so lonely and like so much shit. And I just wanted to take it out on Jordan. And I just had to sit down and be like, you know what, Jordan, like, this is not your fault at all. Like there's like a complete other side to what's going on in my head, and it's not fair for me not to tell you what's really going on, but I don't want you to feel like you're to blame, or like, and I also don't want you to like sit and judge me when we go out to eat and I want to eat a lot, or you know what I mean, like I don't know how to bring it up to you because I don't want you to feel like you have to babysit me, or it's been so hard to just bring it up to him because I'm with him all the time when I'm eating, and I want to be able to be free and not have someone watching over me. And I was like, so I just told him, I was like, I don't want you to take offense to it because nothing to do with you, just the fact that I don't want a babysitter, but this is what's been going on. And he like was so blown away because he felt so bad because he had no idea what was going on, but I hid it so well, it's like literally like when people start doing drugs, like how they hide it from people, like that's what I was doing. And but he had a really hard time with it. But like today, now that we've been able to like calm down, like I was literally just like bawling to him and telling him how embarrassed I was. And it's so hard to admit to your partner that you're embarrassed. Like I tell him everything. Like I do not keep anything from Jordan. This is the only thing I've never, ever, ever told him that I have a real problem with. Like he knows that I have issues with it, like in general, like eating bad, but not the feelings behind it. And he showed me so much love. Like he just hugged me and he said, Ashley, like I'm in your corner. Like I don't want you to not be able to tell me these things. And even just having that one person know about it, I've been able to have so much relief today. I don't have a great day today, but it was better than yesterday. And I'm going to take it as that, you know what I mean? And like, honestly, like I feel like I can tell the world now, because I know that that one person is in my corner and that everything's going to be okay. Like, and now that people know about it, and like, there's really no reason to be ashamed about it. And just saying that I was embarrassed and him telling me that there's nothing to be embarrassed about literally just brought so much comfort to me. So,
well, and that literally what happened with you is exactly what happened with me when I told John, like sitting in the chair and told him what was going on. I was embarrassed, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like, it doesn't have control over me like that. Like I still will use food as comfort when I'm like, no, that's not what I'm not supposed to be doing. I'm still working on that. But the power of me going to I'm going to kind of be incognito with what I say, because I've got little ears, but going to the bathroom and, and it's really weird because for me, it's the pain that it causes doing that. You know what I mean? But I feel like now, because I admitted it, I talked about it out loud, I was honest about it, that it does not have control over me anymore. So don't let things be secrets in you, because that's when they're going to have control over you. It has power over you then, with shame and guilt and all of the stuff. And then all of that stuff festers, and then it pours onto everything.
That's the real problem. That's what made me feel like complete shit. It's not even the eating. It's how I felt about myself because of it, and how I felt so out of control.
Yeah. So that's why we want to talk about all this stuff, because these are things that a lot of us need to work on through. So if this is something you struggle with, Brene Brown, she's amazing. And I would definitely recommend her books. There's so many other books, the Life School Coach podcast. She has great ones about nutrition and emotional eating. There's all kinds of tools and stuff that we will start sharing with stuff as we go through. But we feel like if we attract people, your vibe attracts your tribe, and both of us are on the exact same team and we struggle with these things, then you guys, we're not alone. You guys have maybe not specific to what we deal with, but some sort of inner demons that you're going through to help that may not be a good way of coping, or maybe whatever's going on up here. So we want you guys to feel like you can be open, but also make sure that you have a game plan going forward as well, so that you're not just sitting there complaining that you don't have control over something and putting it out there. Because sometimes we do the victim card where it's like, I don't know why I do this and I can't stop and blah, blah, blah. But really, if you sit down and you look at yourself and you're like, okay, why am I doing this? What are some things, like not having it in the house? That's going to help you. Not, you know what I mean? Like, it's only going to be there if you put it there. Or, oh, but my so-and-so brings it this and that. Well, then you need to talk to them. There are always going to be things that you can do. So just like my kids, I've been starting. Every time you need to come to me with a question, you better think of an answer that you can tell me first, because I'm so tired. They, like, most of the time know the answer to everything that they ask me. It's all silly stuff. And we do that though too. I even do the same thing. We want reassurance. We want guidance. We want to be told how to feel better. We want to be told what direction to go. So we want to just make sure that as you guys go through this process, we're on week 2 or whichever program you're in. If you're only focusing on the numbers on the scale and numbers that are in the inches and your clothes or whatever, then we want you to flip your eyeballs around. Those are not the things that I want you to look at. I want you to look at what's going on in here and right here in their habits. And if you're struggling, then we want you to know that this is a safe place for you to talk about your struggle, and then we can all together figure out how we can link arms and go through these together. Okay.
Right. I also too, Jamie, when you post the video, if you can put this in the comments too, just in case someone doesn't get all the way to the end. And I'm going to volunteer your time just because I know that you're okay with it. If you aren't comfortable talking about things like this in a group forum and you want to talk to either me or Jamie one-on-one, or both of us together, whether it's a conference call or meet for coffee or whatever, both of us are completely open to that. So just let us know. You don't have to give us details. Just say, hey, I need to talk and this is how I want to do it, and we'll make it happen.
But it's going to be a talk that is, you tell us what's going on, and then we're a game plan behind. We're not just going to sit and shoot the shit. You know what I mean? Like, we want to make sure that you get your shit together, because we're not about to live that life. So I feel like this will be good. We'll post a recording. Hopefully last week there was a lot of people on. Hopefully this week there'll be this next week will be more people.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking, like, we'll ask about the recordings too if we don't post it right away. So I think people will at least watch it, and then I won't cry every week, I promise.
I know, and you guys, this is like a deep one, so like just know that they're not always going to be like this, but I think it's really important to address all of the things. Like, you have to make sure that you're focusing on the inward stuff, not just the outward stuff.
What were you going to say, Chelsea?
I feel like so Jamie, I've been in like one or two more other challenge groups before you guys combine groups. I don't remember how many it was, but I feel like there's a lot more interaction in this group, and I feel like there's a lot more than just the fit part. And
Mhm.
that's why I like, not that I didn't like the other groups before, but I just feel like there's a connection between all of us that maybe wasn't there before.
Mhm.
No,
Jamie, I
that's
totally
what
agree.
we totally agree. We actually got together and we were talking about it because we were like, what should we do? And so that's why we combine groups. And this, by far, hands down, out of all the years that I've been doing this, is the best group I think that we've
Mhm.
ever had. But I also think it's because we're sharing, we're not just sitting there being the perfect, we did our workout, we drank our shake, we ate really healthy, and we're 100%, and ha ha ha,
Mhm.
here are our results. We're not like that, but you know what I mean? Like the real life, going through the trenches, you know what I mean, and sharing about it and allowing that safe place to be, for some reason, because there's a lot of people that have been in all of our groups before.
Right, a lot of the
this.
same faces, but
Yeah, but for some reason, this is just picking up traction, and I think it's because of the community and the morale that we're doing with just like doing the calls together and the workouts together and all of the things. So I really hope that we can get more people leaning in because it's so good. But I'm glad that you feel that, Chelsea. And
me too.
clearly you are a huge reason why the group feels so awesome, and that's why you're challenger of the week. So on that note, yay! It's so funny too,
All right.
because every time we pick somebody, it's like we are always on the same like vibe
Mhm.
of who we're
Literally,
thinking.
I was like, I think we should choose Chelsea. And she was like, literally, that's what I was going to say too.
And then Kelsey said it. It's gonna be.
Yep.
I didn't even hear her say it.
Oh, that's so cute. All right, guys. Well, thank you. We're gonna post a recording, and we hope that this was helpful. And we'll talk to you guys later.
Jamie, someone wants to say hi real quick.
Hi, Wyatt.
He's so cute.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.